All right, let's begin the conversation. We start from the home front. What is Oju Zokalu saying? You know, he's the former Senate president aspirant, ex-governor of Abia State, now a senator representing Abia North Senatorial District, Senator Oju Zokalu. He has revealed how he declined to become a ministerial nominee. Remember last week, President Bola Tinubu released 28 names, promising to release the second list anytime soon. After waiting for 58 days, you know, the Constitution made a provision for 60 days. That is the maximum time we can wait for the ministerial list. The extent to which the president fulfilled that part of the Constitution is subject to debate anyways. But that is being said. Oju Zokalu came out and said he declined the offer and urged the president to pick whoever he liked from Abia State. And meanwhile, Nkiruka Nyojocha, a former lawmaker of the House of Representatives, she represented Isikweto Umunochi Federal Constituency, was nominated by President Bola Tinubu. Take a listen to what OUK said.
Well, I want to say it openly. When I did not contest for Senate President, the federal government of Nigeria wanted me to be minister. I respected my brother and friend and the president of Nigeria, Bola Tinubu, and asked him to put anybody of his choice. And they are putting the Kido Georgia. I support that ministerial appointment because Tinubu cannot be wrong. And we will work with her. She's my ally. I never campaign against her. I never destabilize her. And I want her to come. Let us build a new APC. We have already, me, Abaribe, and Darlington Wokocha, 3 or 4 senators. We've already signed a letter to the Senate President confirming her in advance. Moreover, she was a very senior member of the House of Representatives, so she will take a bow. And so, for me, Bunye Jocha will work with me, will work with the Deputy Speaker, will work with everybody in Abia State of APC.
There you have it. Those are the exact words that he used, saying he declined the offer to become the Minister of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Well, the question is, why telling us now, distinguished senator? That is that will be subject to your opinion later on when we throw the lines open. Let's talk about the assassination attempt on the candidate of the Labour Party in the last general elections, Abia South Senatorial District. Candidate of the Labour Party in the February 25 National Assembly elections, Chief Chinedu Onyizo, at the weekend escaped assassination. 3 gunmen invaded his home in Obingwa near Rabah here. Onyizu was in the state to attend the burial of the late former national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, Chief Vincent Ogbulafo, in Olokoro, that's in Umahia. He was heading home when he got a call from Senator Darlington Wokocha, representing Abia Central. You know, Senator Darlington Wokocha is of the Labour Party extraction, and he had to branch to the senator's country home in Isialangwa. So he was with Wokocha when the fully armed assassins got to his home in Abai or Hanze, where they demanded to see him. They had held those in the compound hostage, stripped them of their phones, ransacked the house in what looked like a guerrilla attack, even as they told his aides, relations that were there, that they saw him at Ogbulafo's burial, even though they were told he was not in town. Anyways, he spoke to journalists. Onyizu spoke to journalists, telephone call, and he wondered who could have sent those guys to kill him because of the election, according to him, which results he was challenging in the Court of Appeal in Owerri. He called on Abia police authorities to conduct a thorough investigation into the matter, arrest the culprits, and identify their sponsors with a view to bringing them to book. So that is the latest right now. Talking about security situation in the southeastern part of the country. It has reached fever pitch. It has reached fever pitch, which is quite unfortunate. Okay, let's move on now. We've got other stories for you this morning on the program Issues and Views right here on Enyimba 94.3 FM. Abba. And now to national issues. I told you that yesterday, it was a day for the head of states in this West African countries to do something, say something about the persistent force over, taking over of power, coup d'etat in the West African countries. Now, let's take a listen to what happened yesterday. There was a meeting yesterday. The West African leaders gave the military junta in Niger 1 week to cede power, warning they did not rule out of the use of force and imposed immediate financial sanctions. The meeting was held in Nigeria. 15-nation economic community of West African states demanded the immediate release and reinstatement of Niger's elected president Mohamed Bazoum, who has been held by military since Wednesday last week. Yes, indeed, you heard me right. ECOWAS announced the suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS and member states in Niger, which is part of the bloc, as well as halting energy transactions. And it said the freezing of Niger's assets in ECOWAS central and commercial banks and imposing a travel ban and asset freeze for the military officials involved in the coup attempt. In fact, they said the chief of defense staff, the chiefs now of defense staff in all the 15-nation bloc will meet to consider the use of force. Let's take a listen to what some officials of the ECOWAS said yesterday during that meeting.
In the event the authorities' demands are not met within 1 week, take all measures necessary to restore constitutional order in the Republic of Niger. Such measures may include the use of force. To this effect, the chiefs of defense staff of ECOWAS are to meet immediately. Closure of land and air borders between ECOWAS countries and Niger. 2. Institution of ECOWAS no-fly zone on all commercial flights to and from Niger. Suspension of all commercial and financial transactions between ECOWAS member states and Niger. Freeze all service transactions, including energy transactions. Impose travel ban and asset freeze for the military officials involved in the coup attempt.
That is part one of the drama. ECOWAS leaders talking tough there, issuing 7-day ultimatum to the Niger Republic military to release and reinstate President Mohamed Bazoum as the legitimate head of state and government of the landlocked state. Do you know the reply? In a swift reaction, the guys behind the coup rejected his call and warned ECOWAS against military intervention. Let me quote him. He said, "We want to once more remind ECOWAS or any other adventurer of our firm determination to defend our homeland." In fact, some other things were said by the General Abdurrahman Tishani, who is the nation's new leader, who emerged as the new leader under coup. He called out the West African leaders. He called them out and listed some reasons why they should put their house in order first. Take a listen to this.
But I have a concern. Before setting up a unit or anti-coup d'etat unit in ECOWAS, isn't it time that the African head of states or the ECOWAS head of states look into the reason why there are coup d'etats? What are the root causes of coup d'etats? Let them put their house in order first before they set up an anti-coup d'etat unit. And I believe their house is not in order. This unit is set up to defend them and to protect them only, nobody else. What is more coup d'etat than your national constitution give you 2-term limit, 5 years, 2 terms. After serving 10 years, you want to change the constitution for another term. Is that not a coup d'etat? In the name of civilian, putting on mufti clothes, calling yourself a Democrat, when you loot all the resources of your country, mislead people, torture them, imprison them, burn their businesses to us, and you call that a democracy or a civilian rule and an illegally elected government? The leaders must stop lying to their electorate first. They must stop the corruption. They must stop looting our resources.
The battle line is drawn between the Niger coup plotters and the ECOWAS leaders, What will they do? You heard that general there who is in charge of the nation now after the coup, talking tough there. In fact, he rebuffed the threats made by the ECOWAS leaders. And it is just 7 days. Anyways, we will follow events as it unfolds. Probably bring an expert here to talk about the implication of this, especially as some West African countries are jittery at the moment. It's an international politics being played right now. Anyways, let's move on. Let's move on to other issues because we will be talking about the judiciary this morning. And what brought about that conversation was the question of, is DSS above the law? That was one question put to me on the program last week by one of the callers. But we will get to that point. Let's talk about the NLC. The federal government will meet with the Nigeria Labour Congress, organized labor, including the TUC, today to prevent the nationwide strike. You know the implication of the organized labor going on strike. Everything will be shut down. All right? NLC is advising you and I to stock our homes with food items, medicines, and other essential things ahead of the commencement of its 7-day strike to protest the removal of fuel subsidies and the escalating cost of living in the country. Now, the big question is, do you think NLC will forge ahead? Many Nigerians are now seeing NLC as a toothless bulldog. They are comparing NLC of today, the Joe Ajero-led NLC, and that of the Adams Oshiomhole NLC, saying, NLC, we do not believe in you again. Unlike before, when NLC carves, the government shakes. But is that the case today? Well, let's look at the warning. NLC noted that it has become necessary because the strike would cripple the country as movement will be severely curtailed, as commercial transport operators would withdraw their services. Markets, schools, healthcare facilities will be forced to shut down. What will be the outcome of the meeting between the federal government and NLC today? It will determine if the strike will commence on Wednesday, the 2nd of August. Strike on one part, protest on the other side. Some persons are condemning that the protest should not hold, looking at the fragile security situation of the country, while some persons are saying to press home our demands, the protest should hold. You know what it means? You have the civil society organizations being prepped at the moment to join NLC to protest. Hopefully, this protest will not be hijacked. That's the fear of security agencies. So many sides to this particular story. NLC is advising us to stock our homes for 7 days. Do you believe in them? Do you believe in the NLC? We'll get to find that out when we throw the lines open this morning anyways. But the federal government is threatening that there is a court order restraining NLC not to go on strike, but that has been countered by their lawyer, NLC's lawyer, Femi Falana SAN, human rights lawyer, who said the Nigeria Labour Congress and its affiliates can proceed on strike. He wrote the Minister of Justice. In fact, he wrote the Minister of Justice, the senior advocate of Nigeria, is the counsel to the organized labor. He argued that no court in the land has issued a perpetual injunction restraining Nigerian workers from participating in peaceful rallies convened by NLC. And he said that it is not contempt of court, and contrary to, let me quote him now, contrary to your unwarranted, just a moment, the letter just disappeared right now. Okay, there you have it. Great. Contrary to your unwarranted allegation, the Nigeria Labour Congress does not intend to disobey the ex parte order of the National Industrial Court, to the effect that the defendants, respondents are hereby restrained from embarking on planned industrial action or strike of any nature pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice dated 5th of June 2023. You will agree with us that the National Industrial Court or any other court has not granted an order of interim, interlocutory, or perpetual injunction restraining Nigerian workers from participating in peaceful rallies convened by the Nigeria Labour Congress. So that's the situation about that. Anyways, we take a break now. When we return, we'll delve into our conversation this morning. We're talking judiciary. We're looking at the trust deficit in the judiciary. Many Nigerians do not believe in that arm of government again. We're finding answers to this question. Is judiciary still the hope of the common man? And that's where we're bringing a distinguished this morning, Barrister Monday Ubani. He's the former vice president of the Nigerian Bar Association, presently the chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association section on public interest and development law, NBSPDL, who will talk to us. I will look at different angles to this particular question. We're also going to make reference to the recent face-off between the DSS and the correctional service officers. Keep the dial locked right here on Enyimba 94.3 FM. Drop your comments on the Facebook page, facebook.com/Enyimba943 FM. Comments are pouring in at the moment. Linux, Ivan, Onoha Ikechukwu, I can see your comments on our Facebook page. Ebinwa Simeon Onyeji. Just to mention a few, we will run through your comments as the program progresses. Also, WhatsApp platform is 0809 666 0943. 0809 666 0943. It's Issues and Views, Monday edition, right here on Enyimba 94.3 FM. Abba. You listen to them every day and they make you happy by informing, educating, and entertaining you.
They are the on-air personalities, OAPs, that put a smile on your face each time you tune in to any of our 3-in-1 radio stations.
Enyimba 94.3 FM,
Legend 98.3 FM,
and Rose 101.9 FM, Abba. These OAPs also ensure that you get more than a radio experience by showcasing the best in you.
So now is the time to vote for your favorite OAPs on Enyimba,
Legend, and Rose FM radio stations as we mark 1 year of excellent broadcast services this August in the city of Aba.
Beginning from the 1st of August 2023, you have a chance to vote for the particular OAP you consider the best amongst the best, who has impacted your life most positively on any of our 3 radio stations.
To cast your vote, please visit vote.enyimba.com.
www.vote.enyimba.com and follow the instructions.
The Enyimba is spelled ENYINBA.
The OAP with the highest votes will win an amazing prize from the management.
Vote now to give your favorite OAPs
the recognition and reward they deserve.
This message is from Enyimba TV and Radio Limited.
Enyimba FM 94.3 Aba.
Enyimba 94.3 Aba.
And now, Issues and Views. Issues and Views. Well, thank you so much for staying tuned. Still the Monday edition of the program Issues and Views right here on Enyimba 94.3 FM. We're streaming live on our Facebook page, facebook.com/Enyimba 943 FM. We're also streaming on our YouTube page, Enyimba TV on YouTube. All right, join the conversation, drop your comments. I told you we will be talking about judiciary, that arm of government, this morning. We're closing the trust deficit in the judiciary. We're finding answers to this particular question. Is the judiciary still the hope of the common man? We're also going to make reference to the face-off between the DSS and the correctional service officers. You know, the Nigerian judiciary is regarded as the cornerstone of the country's democratic system, and it is often referred to as the last hope of the common man. But since the country's return to civilian rule in 1999, the institution is now facing growing criticism over its impartiality, alleged anyways, in judgments. Some election cases, some other cases that are not election cases, and the question on many Nigerians' minds: who are heading the courts to seek redresses, whether the judiciary is still the heaven for the common man. It has become a place where justice is only for the privileged, powerful individuals and high-profile politicians. That's a big question many Nigerians are trying to find answers to this morning. Anyways, joining us this morning is Dr. Monday Ubani. He's joining us virtually. He's a human rights lawyer, former vice president, Nigerian Bar Association, and chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association section on public interest and development law, NBSPDL. Glad to have you. Good morning to you, Dr. Ubani.
Thank you for having me. Good morning.
You're welcome.
I just handed over as chairman of SPIDA.
Oh, great.
And that was last month. I've been there for 2 years now.
Great. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very
much.
Now,
looking at this particular big question, I think I should just throw the question to you. Is judiciary still the hope of the common man?
There is no other institution under democracy we should actually heap our hope on in terms of resolution of disputes apart from judiciary. We are not operating autocracy or dictatorship government. What we are in is democracy. And if there is an arm of government that actually resolve dispute between contending parties in the polity, it is the judiciary. And so judiciary ought to be the last hope of the common man. Is it fulfilling that role? There are issues, no doubt, but there is no other choice. There is no other institution that we can actually place our hope on other than judiciary, as long as what we are practicing is democracy. So the question is it still the hope? It remains the hope. It remains the hope. There is no other thing. There's no other arm. There is no other institution we can place our hope on. But there are issues, which we will, by the grace of God, also highlight this morning for the I think, consumption of the public.
I think we should just delve into that issue. The issues in justice delivery. Why is there this trust deficit by Nigerians? Because it is getting worse when it comes to Nigerians saying, hey, believe in the judiciary. You will find answers to the question. And sometimes it's even the issue of interpretation of the law. Many Nigerians do not believe in judiciary, as simple as interpretation of the law. So where did the judiciary arm of government get it wrong?
Recruitment. The recruitment process, just like Nigeria today, Nigeria do not in any way believe in merit, and that is what is destroying the country. If you go to nations that are making it, the nations that are succeeding today, they pick the best in the country and put in governance. And that's why you are seeing turnaround in every aspect of their life. You go to these countries, you think you are in heaven, but you are just here on earth. It's just that people who have the capacity, who have the capability, who have the competence are being recruited, to man all their affairs. And that's why they run on meritocracy. But here, what we are running on is, who shows loyalty, who will be stupid enough to be subservient, that is the person you give authority to, or who is more loyal. It's loyalty that is actually the basis for reward. And as long as we have not put in the best hands to run our institutions, we can never in any way have the best. There is no two about it. So the recruitment process over the time in our judicial sector has been deteriorating, getting people recommending either from the Ezes, from the Obas, from the Emas, from the governors, from the senators. They just put in people that are clearly social misfits that have no business in the judicial sector. And then you cannot in any way put apple and expect mango. It's not possible now. So as long as we have not gotten the brightest minds, into our judiciary, look at the recruitment process most times. You see guys who are doing so well in the legal practice, who apply to be judges. Nobody takes them, but the people you see are the children of the judges, the children of the governors, and these are people who have no interest in being there, but because their parents want them there, and so they cannot in any way. There's no way you can expect boldness. I'm delivering a paper. I'm delivering a paper on judicial intervention in our electoral process in the African continent. I happen to be the chairman in fact, that should be my new position now. That should be reflected in the case I'm being addressed. I'm the chairman of the Electoral Reform Commission of African Bar Association. That is an African Bar Association in African continent. And they're having a conference in Pretoria, and I'm delivering a paper in Pretoria, South Africa, and my topic is judicial intervention in our electoral process. I did a very strange finding. I found out that from 1999 or even 79 to date, our judiciary has not been bold enough to overturn elections, or especially presidential elections, where there has been apparent and noticeable what we call irregularities in the process. They've not been bold enough. But we have had both judiciary in Kenya. We have had both judiciary in Malawi, where those two countries, within the continent, overturned their presidential election, where there was perceived, and observed irregularities in the process, and they were bold enough to ask that a rerun be done, and it happened. And so, if we over the years have not been bold enough, of course, remember the two-third imbroglio under Shagari, Awolowo, and all that, where even the judge who was delivering judgment said that the case should not be cited as precedent because and then their hands were tied. They were not bold enough to do the right thing. Now, 2007 election was the most irregular election ever held in Nigerian, election history. The 2007, the one that was superintended by Maurice Iwu.
Yes.
That election was so bad that the person himself, who was the winner of the election, said that his election was totally flawed, and that is the late President Yaradua. Now, if the man that won the election said that his election was totally flawed, Supreme Court 4-3 said the majority was saying that the election was valid, was regular, was okay. The man that won the election said that it was totally flawed. As I speak to you today, if you go to the internet, you will not see the result of 2007 election in the internet. You won't see any, this is what Abia, scored, or this is what Enugu scored, and all that. It was pure allocation. It was so bad that they were not even bold enough to put those figures in the internet. All of the election from 1990, that if you Google, you see all their results state by state. But 2007 election can never be found anywhere in the internet because it was the most irregular, the worst ever in political history, followed by 2023, election. So what we're saying is that the process of recruitment has been, the problem of having a judiciary that is very bold, to look at issues, So what did Kenya do? When Kenya had electoral, malfeasance and problem, and they discovered that judiciary.
Yes, go on, please.
And they discovered that judiciary was not bold enough. What they did was that they recruited a Chief Justice of the Federation, a very bold lecturer, a law professor and lecturer who they know to be very upright, to head the Supreme Court. And before you know it, election, because that was the clamor, let there be a reform in the judicial sector. So there was a recruitment, and the man came with no nonsense man and was very bold enough. When the election took place, that they found to be very regular. The man was bold enough to pronounce that election as flawed and ask for a rerun, even though the opposition did not participate. And then Kenyatta emerged also, with an almost 98. But the point was that the court was bold enough to obtain a result that was considered irregular. That again is key. So if you look at our judiciary, most of the people that are being recruited are not bold. Most of them, they are induced. Most of them, they have issue of corruption, plaguing them. Most of them also are afraid.
I was going to take you on the issue of corruption. Maybe we should just delve into that issue of corruption. How can we now eliminate corruption in the judiciary? Because the judiciary is meant to uphold the truth always, no matter whose ox is God. So how can we eliminate corruption in the judiciary arm of the government?
You must eliminate corruption from every sector in Nigeria. There is no sector today that is spared of corruption.
Okay.
There is none. There is not. As I speak to you, everything you want to do in Nigeria is, especially with the government, is from beginning to the end is pure corruption. You want to get a contract, before the contract is given to you, you have to pay money for you to get the contract. You have not executed the contract. You have not been paid any mobilization but for you to be given the letter that you are to get this you have to pay money. By the time you are given the letter, before you are mobilized, or they mobilize you, almost 3/4 of the money we have already given you. I must promise that this is what we are going to give to, even when you have not finished the contract. And so that's why when the contract is poorly done, nobody will come and point it out to you, because they have squandered them. They have already eaten the money from you. They have taken the money from you that you used to do a good job. Do you see any good road in Nigeria? Have you seen for the past 30 years or 40 years, have you seen any good road that just like the one that was left by the white men, and then under Mbakwe, Sam Mbakwe, if you know some of the roads that are still functional in Abia State and Imo, was done by Mbakwe. After that particular time, now see all the roads that have been done by previous government after Mbakwe's regime in the old Imo. Go and see their state now and see how they have whether they have lasted. Whether you can, the only good where you can see good road now in the old southeastern region is Akwa Ibom, the one that was done by Akpabio. And Akpabio used beggar, but I don't know whether the beggar is still maintaining the same standard now in all other ones they are doing. If you see the roads in Akwa Ibom, over 10 years Akpabio left. They are all. I travel there almost every time. I was there last week. Anytime I pass through there, those roads are no single pothole, because they were well done. That's how the white men did our roads, in the 60s, in the 70s, we went them in the 70s, but when they were there in power. So what we're saying is that because of corruption, they have now lowered the standard. They take the money off the contractors, and the contractors will take the little and pocket and then do little or nothing on the road, and then they will certify it as okay. And in fact, 1 year, doesn't even last 1 year. Go and see the ones the previous Abia State government did in some of the places. They have all collapsed. There is no single strong road you can see in Abia and all that. So I'm saying these things, sir. That it is corruption all the way. So the corruption that you have seen in other sectors have also crept into our judiciary. So it's not spared. The judiciary does not exist in the heaven. It exists in Nigeria. As long as all other arms of government are very corrupt and all that, they have learned from them, and they are doing well.
Okay. Another area I really want you to talk about is another challenge facing the judiciary, which is the slow pace of justice delivery. We may not experience this in election cases because of the Electoral Act, very specific on that, but sometimes cases take years, even decades, to be resolved, and it makes it difficult for ordinary citizens to seek justice and have their grievances addressed promptly. Why do we have slow pace of justice delivery in Nigeria, and how can we solve this?
Very frustrating. I have up to 9 cases pending before the Supreme Court. There's one that's been there since 2000 and I think 2007. I have 2007, 2009 cases before the Supreme Court. No date. No date has been given. No date. We are not sure of any date. We are not sure of any date. When people see me, Mr. Obani, why are you not a senior advocate? I just laugh. I say, if you see the thing you have to do in order for you to have the cases completed, you will just laugh. It's a very terrible system. So also all over the Federation, the justice delivery system is extremely poor. The timeline with which to handle an average case, sometimes 5, 6, 7, 8 in the High Court. I'm not talking about the Court of Appeal. Court of Appeal can last up to 10. The Supreme Court, I'm talking about 15 before you can have. So how do you now talk about justice, that you have gotten justice? Because justice delayed is denied. If it takes me 20 years to get justice and all that, what kind of justice is that? That's Pyrrhic victory. So I think that we need to deal with it the way Singapore did. What Singapore did was to recruit as many lawyers and people into the judiciary, and then they offloaded. They ensured that it was an emergency. They offloaded all the cases. Those, after offloading all the cases and ensuring that all the cases have been handed up to them, they now say those who want to be retained in the judicial sector should remain. Those who want to leave back to their practice. And since that time to today, Singapore's experience has been one of the best in the world. Most African countries like Kenya, if you go to this, if you see their judicial system, this country that that had genocide, Rwanda, their judicial system is far ahead of us in terms of justice delivery. They are fast because they have known that justice delayed is denied. So they do everything humanly possible. So recruit more hands into the judiciary, recruit more people into the judiciary, then enhance their infrastructure. if you go to some of the courts in Abia, there was one recently, not in Abia now. A court collapsed on a judge. Yes, and the man was hospitalized. Of course, there was one that was shown somewhere is it in the north? I'm talking about Abia North. If you see I think the rain was falling and everyone, including magistrates, they were people and lawyers were beaten, by rain, in a court setting. Some of the courts are an eyesore. You can't sit in such court and say that is where justice is meted out. When you see a court where rain is and then the roof and everything, so what quality of justice are you expecting in such an environment? You can't get justice because in the first place, the environment itself is clearly unjust. So they cannot give you justice. So I'm saying, this issue of basic funding is lacking, and then allowing independence of the judiciary has always been the problem. They don't allow judiciary to be appropriated with their funding so that they can spend the money on what they support. What the governors are doing is to buy them cars, build 1 or 2 houses for them and all that, as if they're dashing them money. No, the point is give them their money. Let them be the one to determine how they can now utilize them. Or not you buying cars for judges and trying to buy their conscience over. And that's why they have remained very subservient to the governors. The governors behave as if when they're doing this thing, they're dashing judges money. No. The judiciary is an arm. They are supposed to have their own funding. So if they want to buy cars, they buy cars. If they want to build basically, but the EFCC monitor them to ensure also that they don't squander those resources. That's what I think. So issue of expanding the number of judges, getting the infrastructures basic, and then the issue of funding. By the time you do it, and then recruit the best hands that can perform this job. If they are not working, you throw them out of the system. You find out within this and another, your case should not last more than 6 or 7 months. It's very frustrating for me as a lawyer that when I have a case, a case will be there for 5. It's very frustrating. It's very, very frustrating. You cannot file a case now and the case will be assigned, and then within a short time you'll be able to have judge, go to court, and then completely advocate and present your evidence before the court, and then the cases are being handled, proceedings taken, and then you now address the court on the final issue, and then judgment delivered. It doesn't happen. Sometimes it takes so frustrating for some, even the young lawyers who are coming. They go to court, adjournment, they go to court, the court is not sitting, they go to court where they call all the lists, the senior advocates will take all the time. By the time it's 3 o'clock, they ask you to take adjournment. So how would you want, to probably make a living out of such a sector that is so frustrating? And how do you think that clients also will look at you, in coming to that sector to seek for? That's why some of them take laws into their hands instead of wasting, all the time and all that. So judiciary has to really, really be looked into, and then do, as I said earlier, with what Singapore did. But he's carving the kind of leaders that can do that. We keep on electing people that are clearly incompetent to run Nigeria. And that's why we keep on not getting any input, from all the sectors. Yes.
The last leg of our interview this morning is on the face-off between the correctional service officers and the DSS. What is the implication of the rearrest of the embattled former governor of the CBN, Godwin Emefiele, despite the court order that has released him on bail? What is the implication of what happened at the court premises that day? Sacrilege.
The court order must always be obeyed. Even if you disagree with it, what you do is to either bring an application to set aside that, or you go on appeal. You don't in the face of the court disobey an express order of the court. If you do that, you are destroying your institution, you are destroying your country, and by implication, you are destroying yourself. Because no nation will take you serious or investor when they see you presently disobey the order of your court.
There was a question one of my callers asked me that day. I couldn't give an answer. Is the DSS above the law?
They are not. DSS is a creation of law.
Is there any situation where the national security takes over any court order in the country?
They
maybe
cannot.
In the Constitution?
I say, there is no, unless what you are practicing is dictatorship. Under military, they can do anything and get away with it, because almost all the sections of the Constitution that deals with fundamental human rights and all that has been suspended. So you can do anything, and so after there is no issue of observation of right. But under democracy, a democratically elected government.
Yes.
And then that institution is a creation of law. You cannot. It can never be above the law. Just is being run by somebody who feels that he's above the law. One bitchy, who feels that I hear that he assigned his son to go and campaign for President Tinubu. So he feels that now that Tinubu has won, he remains under immunity, can do anything and get away with it because his son campaigned for President Tinubu. That everyone knows. So he has been, trying to prove his loyalty by being abuse power. That is what is going on. There is nowhere in the world where any institution is above the law. No, not even in America, where you have the most powerful president in the world, and that is the same person that been this man that is there now. He's not above the law, so he is subject to law. In the UK, the Prime Minister was recently fined for traffic offence. In fact, the higher you are in society in all these countries, the more you have to be very careful because the law is on you. But here, our political elite are above the law. They go with array of policemen and ADSAs and commit all manner of atrocities but it doesn't happen anywhere except in Nigeria, where there is lawlessness, absolute lawlessness. And you see that the people that are running Nigeria are so incompetent, so have no reason whatsoever to be near government. But Nigerians are the one putting them. Those who are competent are being kept, they don't bring them nearer. And as long as we keep on putting people that are incompetent, people who have no passion for Nigeria, who have no love for Nigeria and for Nigerians, we keep on having wicked rulers that will mess up the system and then remove even the love of investors to come into our country. That's where the rate of unemployment is so much. Because there's no industry here for people to come because the investors are not coming. So get the kind of leaders you want, both at the state level and the federal level, and you see Nigeria Nigeria will jump. Nigeria will be flying.
Okay. Now, I want to understand something in law, and I know you are going to help us this morning. A court released someone on bail, even though the bail has not been perfected at that point. If there are new grounds, is it possible that the DSS arrested Emefiele based on the new grounds?
There is no ground. They foolishly went to court, recently after to go and obtain an order to detain him further. And the court said you can't do that. Are you not aware?
I'm aware of
that. They had no order. There was no reason. Let me just tell you how foolish, that act is, of rearresting him. You were with him. You came and arrested him. You told the whole world that the man was funding terrorists. That's what you told the world. And you wanted even at the time to arrest him. You went to court and all that. And I don't think court granted them that order. So eventually, the president now removed him. The new president came in and asked him to be removed. He arrested him, fine. And then I was on Arise television. I said, look, if this man has committed any offense, go ahead and charge him. But that the way we usually do things in Africa, Nigeria especially, is that you arrest persons and begin to fish for evidence. That before a white man will arrest you in any of these developed countries, they would have completed 80% or even 90% of their investigation. When they rein you in, it's just for you to make a statement contradicting all the evidence or agreeing with the evidence they have against you, and then the matter goes to court within 24 hours. That's what they do. But here, we will go and arrest and then want to keep somebody for 90 days, 100. Stupidity. That's so much joy these guys derive in keeping you in detention for no just cause. Instead of charging you, and you have not been convicted, because only when you are convicted you can be kept in indefinite disregard. But when you have not been convicted, the law says you are innocent. The law presumes you to be innocent. So having arrested him and you kept him for a month, almost 2 months, sir, what is it that you are investigating you are not able to have completed? Now, there were several court orders asking you to either charge him to court or release him. You never did. Eventually, you reluctantly brought him to court. And what did you charge him? Illegal possession of firearm. Illegal possession of, is it what he told the world? You said that this man was sponsoring terrorism. You said that this man stole so much money out of central bank. We all know the havoc that Emefiele committed anyway. He put the economy into jeopardy. Fine. Where are the evidence you have? What is the investigation you've done? Nothing. You now came to charge him for illegal possession of firearm, which I understand that you even have firearm, and then have license, only that the license has expired. Are you expecting a central bank governor to have a gun? in a country where there is insecurity, fine, no problem. You charge him for that. It's a bailable offense. The court now say release him on bail, but pending the time of perfection of bail, let him be in correctional center. What is difficult in that? If you have evidence against him, you will come now and then present, because it does not mean that the man will escape. He has to have shorties to come and stand for them. If they run away, they will be. If he runs away, they will be in trouble. So, what is your problem? You now say you want to arrest him, rearrest him, and go and investigate him for illegal, for sponsoring terrorism. You mean for a month and a half he was with you. We are not able to complete the so-called investigation on funding terrorism. You now want to. It tells you how the kind of people that run Nigeria, so incompetent, have no knowledge. They have messed up the system. They have killed Nigeria. From 1960 to today, Nigeria is retarded. Other countries are making progress. We keep on having people that cannot be able to manage Nigeria. My brother, please, let me stop here. Let me not, because the more I go, I get angry. Please, I'm stopping here. I'm stopping here. Please, Dr.
Monde Ubani, I want to really appreciate you for joining us this morning on the program Issues and Views on Enyimba FM. He's now the chairman, Electoral Reform Commission, African Bar Association. Very interested. And at some point, he got emotional anyway, sir. All right, let's have your thoughts this morning. The big question is: judiciary still the hope of the common man? That's a very technical question, right? We've been able to do justice to it from the angle of a legal practitioner, former vice president, Nigerian Bar Association, there speaking to us virtually on the program. Keep your comments pouring in on our Facebook page, facebook.com /Enyimba 943 FM. Also, drop your comments for us on the WhatsApp platform 0809 666 0943 or 0809 666 0943. That's the number to call, and also you can call 0708 000 0918. All right, let's have your thoughts this morning on the program Issues and Views. All right, you can also drop your comment on the YouTube page. We're streaming live on our YouTube platform, youtube.com /Enyimba 943 FM. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Michael Oni.
Evangelist, you're welcome.
Yes. How was your weekend?
Wonderful. You're welcome.
Yeah, happy anniversary, 1 year anniversary for Enyimba and its sister stations.
Thank you, Evangelist. Go ahead, please.
Yeah. Please, you really, the man you brought on board this morning, in fact, I love that man. That legal luminary, I love him very much. He has just said it in the way it is. I want to now talk concerning the NLC. We have been expecting Ajero-led NLC to be up and doing. Let them match their works with action, because that is one of the tools we use to checkmate the governors. For them to perform what is good, not only for the civil service, but for the entire nation. They have not been using that tool. In the foreign countries, you use a protest and strike to checkmate them, but they have not been doing that. So I want to urge him, let this time around, let him match his works with action. It will help us. And let's see how we can checkmate bad leadership in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Report just coming in says President Bola Tinubu will address Nigerians today by 7 p.m. The agenda of the broadcast is yet to be known as of this moment, but it might not be unconnected with the biting economic pain felt by Nigerians amid the removal of petrol subsidy. His spokesperson Dele Alake just released a statement, and we have a copy right here saying radio stations and electronic media outlets are enjoined to hook up to bring to you the president's broadcast, and we will definitely do justice to that by 7 p.m. today. All right, let's get more reactions from the phone lines. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Mr. Michael. How are you today?
I'm fine. Good morning.
Thank you very much. I'm Pastor John.
All right.
From our area.
All right, go ahead, please.
Yes, my word is coming, or comment is coming as a question to Nigerian Labour Congress. A person is asking, why shouldn't they channel their anger to NNPC, Nigerian National Petroleum Commission or Corporation?
What is education? Is that name a title? I think they should wake up and face the necessity at the time. You see, this body is in charge of making pension available. You see, comparing us to join them in protest, shutting down everywhere, is going back to yesterday. It's not going back to tomorrow, not going front to tomorrow. By this activity, by their motion, by their vision now, as I'm looking at it. Because Nigeria needs to move forward in goodness. Jonathan wants to stop this subsidy. He couldn't because of the protest of the same Nigerian Labour Congress. And today, the president in charge has ended subsidy because it is the channel to enrich some wicked Nigerians. I call them wicked Nigerians because they don't have passion in us. You see, in Libya, Gaddafi managed their petrol. 80% of Libyan oil is managed by Libyan companies. 20% given to Egypt. I lived there, that's why I'm saying this. But Nigeria, Shell is in charge. I heard that 40% belong to Shell. Nigeria manages it as I heard. I don't know how fast it is. So if the Nigerian Labour Congress should channel their anger or their protest, then NPC will wake up and give us petrol because that is their duty. You know, the last thing I want to say, please.
Yes, quickly.
Over the JQ, Nigeria should be careful. Nigeria and Mali is the most dangerous country we have in West Africa. I passed desert several times. I saw weapons. They have many rebel camps there. Nigeria should be careful to engage itself or herself into Niger problem.
All right.
Thank you, Mr. Michael.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. 0809 666 0943 0708 000 0918. Hello, good morning to you. Hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Michael.
You're welcome.
This is Mr. Bright calling from Abba.
All right, Mr. Bright, go ahead, please.
I just want to appreciate the man with you who talks about the boldness on the part of the judiciary. He just spoke the truth. But what I'm trying to say is this, pertaining to Nigeria government and the labor. Last week I had a headline that talks about labor embark on the strike, that they are against the court ruling. Then I begin to ask myself, which court are they talking about? Why must it be that
you're bringing your own headline? We didn't look at that this morning. We're talking about the proposed strike and protest on Wednesday, slated for Wednesday. All right.
Okay.
But
the strike ought to continue. That is the way I look at it.
Thank you.
If Labour wants to stand on their side, let them go ahead on the strike. Forget about whatever pressure and the intimidation Nigeria government might impose on them. They stood firm on their decision. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Do appreciate. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Michael.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Oshiwo.
All right.
I am looking for Mosukuru.
Go ahead, please.
Yeah, the Amasre man in the parliament. Amasre is in a local government area of Ebonyi State.
All right.
Mr. Michael, I want to react to the issue of this labor and the federal government. I want to ask the federal government, can you beat a child and ask him not to cry? It's very uncalled for. You cannot beat a child and ask the child not to cry. See, labor, they have their reason and they know what they are demanding for. Why not grant them their request that peace will reign? And again, I want to ask labor not to come out for protest, never to come out and protest, because if they do, the army, the military, they will shoot. What we hear is killing. That let them go in, stay at their home. That is the easiest way. Just as we leave their France, you can see that today we are at home and nobody will come and force us out to go about our business. Yes, let them just go in and relax, and federal government will hear them. And now, you see, we are talking about democracy. this democracy is democracy or autocracy. Why? They will use court to do what? To stop them. That is all they have been doing, using court to stop these people. I want to tell them never to mind them. We are in support of them. Thank you. And God bless.
Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Do appreciate 0708 0000918. I'm going to run through messages on the Facebook page very soon. Hello, good morning to you.
Good morning.
Yes, sir. You're welcome. Good morning.
You people are really doing great.
Thank you.
My name is Eric.
There is a hold back from your radio and your voice is also low. Oga Yendikachi, go ahead, please. Yes. Yeah. All right.
I want to talk about it. I want to also congratulate the barrister on the fight for lighting us and for us to know what is going on in our judiciary. Let me say, what is happening in the
Can you speak up, please? We can barely hear you. Oyendikachi.
Okay.
Yes.
What is happening in the
better.
Republic, is something that Nigeria should learn their lessons, because you don't allow something like that to happen to you. Use what happened to others to learn before it will happen to you. At least that is a very big lesson to every African country that are molested, because when you hear the commander that took over the power, the mantle of leadership in the Republic now, the man said that the people that vote them in are the people they are using tear gas, molesting, doing all sorts of immoral humiliation to them. You see, as if they don't care because they have run into the power. And once they go, they start amending the law that favor them, not the law that favor the masses who voted them in. That is something that we're seeing in Nigeria. Look at the NLC. After removing the self subsidy, NLC wanted to protest and they used court injunction. At the time, they backed out because of the court injunction. And now, NLC has risen again. I want them to understand that they are the eyes that we, the Nigerians, are watching, because whatever step they make, at least will favor us, because that is the only language Nigerian government listens.
All right. Ayondikachi, thank you. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with us. Hello, good morning to you.
My great analyst, good morning.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah. My name is Nelson John Africa. I'm calling from Aba.
All right.
I want to talk about the issue of the independence or dependence of our judiciary. Honestly, I must congratulate the barrister that spoke some GP ago. Honestly, he did a great job. I must recommend you as well. Now, my brother, let me tell you, in Nigeria, our judiciary, they are not independent. They are independent. Now, I have asked this question before, and I'll still repeat it. Now, tell me, in the three arms of government, why is that the executive, legislature, they are being elected, the legislature are being appointed? Why? Now, tell me, no one beats at the hand that feeds him. Honestly, it is absolutely impossible. So you would employ me and you expect me not to do according to your will. I can't do such a thing. So our judiciary, they are not independent, and that which means now the people that have lost a lot of hope now in the angle of judiciary. Now, where everyone are waiting for now, at this final judgment now in tribunal now, between the issue of P2B and others, my brother, anything they did, our judiciary did now, either it will make or it will mar them now. Because for me, I think for me, my brother, I don't have any hope on judiciary anymore at all. I don't have hope on them anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, John, for sharing your thoughts with us. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, good morning, Michael Oni.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Yeah. This is Zawaka.
One day Cardinal.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Honestly, I wish your guest had ample time to really talk more. Seriously.
It had to go because it got emotional at some point, sir.
These are some of the issues that we need to really, have a grasp of. Because you keep wondering why we have sound minds like this, and then the judiciary are peopled by so many people who do not have a mind of their own. Look at what he said, and that is the real truth. These people do not have a mind of their own. You are the kind of the executive appoints the head of the judiciary. And in such a scenario, what exactly do you expect? Who will give them that way power to upturn their election, no matter how flawed they are? Well, I keep praying that a day will come when we will have people who will have that decency to either call it quits or do what is necessary. Then as for NLC, they just have to redeem themselves. It's obvious Nigerians are no longer even taking them serious, because severally they've made everybody believe that they are fighting for the workers, only to abandon the fight at the middle of the road. So for once, they have another chance to fight for the workers. They have another chance to fight for Nigerians, and then to start taking them serious. If they really want to go on strike, they just have to insist that until, because it's not really necessary going on strike for no reason, they just have to insist that until the executive comes up with a sustainable palliative for Nigerians, because Nigerians do not have to
let us believe that palliative will come today, because the president is addressing Nigerians by 7 p.m.
Well, I just hope that is the reason why he's going to address Nigerians, because if not, then I don't want, because I'm sure this address is coming up maybe to stop NLC from going on this strike.
All right, One Cardinal, thank you. Do appreciate you for sharing your thoughts with us. All right, hello, good morning to you.
Good morning, Michael Oni.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
Thank you so much.
Comrade.
Yeah, Michael is me.
All right, go on.
How was your weekend, sir?
Wonderful.
I heard that you are celebrating your 1 year this thing. I hope you will have plan for us.
We will be inviting you on the 16th of August. Just watch out for the jingle. It will start rolling very soon. All right. Go on, please.
No problem. Thank you, Michael. Let me just put my own little contribution based the issue of the Nigeria judiciary. Michael, is not only Nigeria judiciary. Our institution, all, I didn't say except one, I say all, our institutions have bastardized, where you will see the writing. Because of the contact you have, you will not do the right thing. Like the man that you contacted, say, if you watch what is happening in judiciary today, is the son of a former governor or a minister, you will say a son of nobody, somebody that don't have that contact. You just put somebody there because of the contact they have. It's not only judiciary, Michael. I know what I'm telling you. So, for us to move forward, we have to reject our system. We have to put things, like the man said, people who have something to offer. So, I want to tell President Abdel Tribu, be our president. Let him change the system. Have you heard about Bawa? Nothing like Bawa today. Whether he's alive, he's dead. Let us believe okay, look at this election tribunal. You see people agitating that what the court will give, they are not comfortable with the judgment. Few weeks ago or months, a former senator stood up in Harlow Chamber, said that some people contacted him through the wife, through him to contact the wife, to look for a way if they will get a judgment. And Nigeria didn't do anything. By now, the case, all these judgments given by the woman should be reviewed.
The wife denied it and said she has never been under any influence. I know you're talking about Justice Bokachua.
Yes.
Yes, the wife denied it. That
what do you expect the woman to say?
She didn't give any judgment like that.
But Michael, as a intelligent young man, somebody that's riding intellectual mobile, what do you expect the woman to say? So our system is fully corrupt. There's not two ways about it. And you know the worst part of it. The young people that's growing up are learning with the same system.
Nothing to say, because as that old man has said it, because any position, you see somebody getting a minister,
yes,
you see a council of a ward.
Quickly, comrade, let's allow others.
No problem. A council of a ward, you will see him or her going to church to thank God. His people will go there because everybody is thinking, waiting for him to come back with some government looted of money. Myself, forget about those things. We have to be prayerful and ask God to take Nigeria because of what is going.
Thank you. Let's allow others. Hello, good morning to you.
Hello, Oni, good morning.
Yes, sir. You're welcome.
This is Prince Political.
All right, Prince Political, a regular contributor on Facebook. Go on.
God bless you.
All right, you're welcome.
Firstly, Oni, I have one observation, please.
Okay, quickly.
Please, due to your time limits and time factor over this program, I really want to urge you to minimize the time people call into this program. What I'm saying is that somebody will not call into a program where millions of people are trying to contribute, and the person will be having the floor for more than 5-10 minutes. Please, that's observation.
All right.
On that aspect.
Thank you.
Let me hit the nail immediately. Talking about the proposed protest on Wednesday. I am telling you that protest is going to hold. Only our leaders here are using us as puppets. And it's high time we stand up to our rights. Did you see what Oshiomhole said us? Oshiomhole said, and I quote, if you know that township or city is difficult for you to live, go to your village. What kind of country are we? Honestly, what these people are cooking in this country, what they are cooking is almost getting done. And if it gets done, you should be prepared to eat that food with us. Thank you and have a blessed
Thank you, sir. Let me run through the numerous messages that you've sent on the WhatsApp and the Facebook page. Chioma Okubunka says, good morning, Mike. I have lost faith in the NLC. They are toothless. Be ready to hear about the cancellation of the proposed strike. Few minutes to 12 midnight tomorrow. I hope they will prove you wrong anyways. Joe will be testing from Umule this morning. I support the NLC to go on strike. Though it will bring more hardship to the nation. All right. Michael, good morning. Why you always... No, that's not true, Mr. Umocham. We had an advert this morning before the start of the show, which was done, which played automatically. At some point, we had to even cut in. Well, thank you so much, man. I do appreciate you, Mr. Uwa from Umocham. I appreciate. Nigerian Labour Congress to begin strike on Wednesday is a welcome development. Nigerians are suffering because of the removal of fuel subsidy. Poverty is increasing in Delhi. Many Nigerians are hungry. Nnamdi Ezimora. Thank you. Evil thrives in Nigeria. ECOWAS should have asked what prompted to take over of the government in Niger Republic. The leader of that coup gave good reasons for their action, but ECOWAS turned blind eyes on those issues. Those reasons are also applicable in Nigeria, but truth must prevail. This one says, OUK knows leaving his political base of Abia North to being a minister is a suicide. Meanwhile, as a minister, he can be relieved of his appointment, and as the president wishes. Indeed, he made the best political decision. Lastly, Niger military leader was right, because the Democrats have failed their people with their actions and inactions. Let's see how ECOWAS and AU will respond. Good morning. Pastor Okechukwu, local government health workers and teachers done to this administration to deserve this. Please, for peace, they should be paid. Audio Guo. Okay, without a name there. Ken Kem says, Happy New Week to Enyimba listener. May the soul of Exodus, popular radio participant. He calls on virtually all our radio stations here, the 3 radio stations. Exodus 14:14. We learnt about his death over the weekend. May his soul rest in peace. So NLC embarking on a nationwide strike is the welcome development. Let them not compromise so that there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Thank you. Mr. Innocent from Port Harcourt Road, I think they are doing the right thing by using diplomatic system to delay the protest matters. It will affect the petition tribunal if the nation go on nationwide strike. Let us endure while we wait for the ruling of the tribunal. This one says, my old school music person. We're not doing no school this morning now. Congratulations for your anniversary. About the judiciary, hurting Nigerians with truth is better than making them happy with lies. Honorable Marcos says the judiciary is no longer the last hope of the common man. It is the hope of millionaires in the Nigerian society. Isaac from Umbidi says barrister's last emotion said it all. I wish NLC will be serious in their decision. Cleve from Aba, you've heard the response of the junta in Niger Republic. Are they not reasonable and patriotic? Will they fold their hands and allow a few persons to ruin their country in the name of democracy? They are truly patriotic and I support them. As the judiciary, what happened during the presidential primaries where the former Senate president was both the presidential and senatorial candidate and the highest court in the land, the Supreme Court gave him victory in the Senate. Which court does that? Alright, Celestocracy from Hospital Road. On the issue of judiciary, for me, they are no longer the hope of the common man. As a matter of fact, they are now our nightmare. Look at the situation with Nnamdi Kanu. He's still in custody. Alright, that's coming from Celestocracy. Unnayelugo from Port Harcourt Road. I want to thank our guest barrister Monde Ubani for doing justice to all the questions asked. This is the kind of person we need in our society. Comrade Joseph Adiele, voice of Ukwa Land. Michael, my heart goes to the family of the departed radio parliamentarian Comrade Onyewaku, popularly known as Exodus 1414. Ikwagu says African leaders want democracy, but they hate free and fair election. African leaders want democracy, they hate rule of law. African leaders want democracy, they don't obey court rules. Linus Nweke, aka Coach, we have lost hope in the judiciary, but we are expecting them to redeem their image with the president election case. RIP to Exodus 1414. Uka from 7up, there is no point beating around the bush here about Emefiele's detention. The DSS, as a government security agency, is working according to directive of the present government. This one says, for me, judiciary is no longer the last hope of the common man. As for ECOWAS leaders and their empty threats, they are so selfish. Mr. Ronaldo, from police station, Cemetery Road, politicians are earning billions, yet they want ordinary Nigerians to keep managing. NLC should demand a slash of salaries, benefits, allowances, and pensions of all political office holders. What they get from the national budget is crippling the economy. Emmy from Osisioma, I don't support protests. It will turn to something else, and that's my fear too, my brother Emmy. That's my fear. It could be alive. I actually concur with the legal luminary Ubani because office holders, we presume, are constrained by the existence of the dangling sword of the Democles, simply knowing that one day the clock of immunity will turn threadbare and the awaited day of reckoning finds themselves answerable. Clearly not any longer in Nigeria, and that's why impunity by president has been the order of the day. So sad. The strike must hold. Undukwe from Aba. Honorable Marcos, again, we've done your message. Thank you. Okay, let's run through the messages on the Facebook page quickly. I have about 3 minutes to do that. I'll be very fast. Okay, AB1 Simeon Onyeji says, who wants to assassinate Onyizu? I wish Nigeria will have a military coup. Ono Haikechuku, I don't know why this country has gradually turned to a place where all the arms of government have been hijacked by the so-called presidency. Judiciary is a good example. Linus Evan, I wish this thing is happening. Okay. Don Morrison, Abia has turned into something else. Before was Senator Abaribe, now Onyizu. Oni, something must be fishery between the duo. Apostle John Okorie, good morning. Thanks for your wonderful analysis. You see what is happening in Niger Republic is called for redress for all political leaders in Africa, especially West Africa, who thought they are Alpha and Omega. If our leaders in Nigeria, I see the same Omega happening if they don't change. Apostle of Love, watching from Osisioma. God's will. No hope on judiciary unless you have money in Nigeria. A rich and poor person will be in court and you will find out the rich is winning the case. Igwe Victor, Mike, keep up the good job. I'm around UK. If you ask me, I will say the judiciary is no longer the hope of the common man. Anthony Ekuruke, the DSS is trampling on the rights of citizens by not obeying the orders of courts. TMLA Isaac, cool boy from Shoe Plaza. For me, judiciary, I have 20% hope on them, and that will come if Obi wins. Chigozie Obialo, ECOWAS threatening Niger plotters doesn't make sense to me. Let the ECOWAS head of state put their house in order first, because all of them are allegedly corrupt. I love the reply given to them by the coup plotters to desist from their territory or face the wrath. Franklin Vane, the coup in Niger have shown how the African leaders have failed the citizens. ECOWAS should be sincere with themselves on the aims of the union. Also, Francis from Enugu, good morning. The NLC planned peaceful protest is a wake-up call as the only language that government usually hears. Mr. President should kindly address the hike in petrol pump price. Iheke Andrew, can you see the emotions running through your guests? That's how it is whenever you talk about things going on in Nigeria. Talented Benjamin, I feel like crying when I heard that man complain. Also, Francis, surveillance should be geared towards vandalizing the second Niger bridge. Nigeria should imbibe maintenance. Yeah, we are going to revisit that particular story. Fred Uwabunkenye. I'm sorry, Fred. I'm so sorry. Labour telling Nigerians to stock food and medicine. Where did they see money to buy those things? Ikone Zochukwu were tired of NLC and their threat. NLC has become a toothless bulldog over time. Comrade Aruma Ejemole, based on what is going on in Nigeria today, judiciary is no more the last hope of the common man. Komi Black from Umugazi. Fred, again, I commiserate with his family of Exodus 1414, a regular caller that called different radio stations. He calls from Umwe Hilegu Market. Cosma CJZ, Nigeria government is building on strong men instead of building on strong institutions. For instance, the action of DSS towards Nabikano and Emefiele, who were innocent of their allegation and lawlessness to the rule of law. John Agunwa Ahamba, may the soul of the great fan with loud voice Exodus 1440 rest in peace. On the second thread on the Facebook page, let's see what we've got here. Comrade Elijah Udenwer, loading your comment right now. I condemn in strong terms the planned assassination of our brother Ato Hanze. What will profit them to kill him? NLC should go on with the planned action. Emmy Bright, I guess I heard your guest spoke. My brother Oni, only God will deliver us. Ukwabi Ikechuku, the threatened strike action will compound the suffering of the masses. Rather, NLC should proffer solutions that will make the country more proactive. Okay. Usage Jerechi, we all knew how NLC used to be when Adams Oshiomhole was the chairman. NLC should go on this planned strike. Let them not disappoint the citizens. Okay. Comrade Ferguson Yekwere, the president had ECOWAS meeting to restore peace in Republic of Niger is good. Mike, did you know that yesterday thousands of people in Niamey, the capital city of Niger, protest against the dethroned government for promoting poverty in the country? But for me, ECOWAS should first look at the causes of this coup in the West African region before issuing a 7-day ultimatum. Thank God, Chineye, thank you for your message. Ben Okafor, Anya Lewechi, Ibeabuchi, Ndukwe Victor, Franklin Vane, Oji Godfrey, and Kalinek. Thank you for your messages. I need to step out of the studio. Another issue we're going to look at is this issue of NLC strike. Hopefully, we'll get across to the national leadership of NLC. Hopefully, if that is possible, to delve into the issues and, of course, peaceful protests. If they are going to go on with the protest on Wednesday, I fear that protest may be hijacked. I fear because of the fragile security situation of the country. Thank you so much for joining us. From tomorrow, surprises on this platform, 1st of August. Yes, indeed. The news comes up top of the hour. My name is Michael.